Today's podcast is a special one because it is our 3-year anniversary at Green Beauty Conversations. In that time, we've released 60 episodes, seen almost 300,000 downloads, welcomed over 60 guests, hit the #1 spot in iTunes for beauty, and had countless discussions about different exciting topics to do with green beauty. We've redefined what natural and clean beauty means. We've made it very clear that you don't need to be a chemist to be a formulator. We've challenged the mainstream personal care industry and its short-lived beliefs of how we use and buy our personal care products. And we've given shape to the discussion around indie beauty. For that reason, I wanted to make our 3-year anniversary episode a bit different by inviting some of my team members at Formula Botanica onto the podcast to give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes peek. Welcome to Green Beauty Conversations, the podcast that challenges you to think about how you buy, use, make, and sell your natural beauty formulations. We tackle topics that will make you think and encourage debate about green beauty with your friends, followers, or customers. I'm your host, Lorraine Dallmeier. I'm a chartered environmentalist, biologist, and the CEO of award-winning online organic cosmetic formulation school, Formula Botanica. We have thousands of students in over 170 countries around the world who study with us to become organic beauty formulators and entrepreneurs. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com to try our free online formulation course. So today's episode is all about showing the behind the scenes at Formula Botanica. It currently takes about 40 people to run our huge global formulation school on a daily basis. So I thought it'd be fun to pull back the curtains and give you a behind the scenes view into what it takes to run Formula Botanica. People often think it's just me doing everything, and you would simply not believe how many of the messages we receive start with, "Hi, Lorraine." But when you have over 12,000 students in 170 countries, run several major platforms that welcome millions of visitors every year, and receive thousands and thousands of messages, calls, chats, assignments round the clock, you'll understand it takes a team of dedicated professionals to ensure that things run smoothly. So I'd like to introduce you to some of them and share their stories of how we've built Formula Botanica together to be the leading online education institution for organic formulation and indie beauty. Let me take you on a journey through the education team, the student experience team, and the marketing tech team to show you the behind the scenes at Formula Botanica. So first, I'd like to welcome Eliza, who has been one of our grading tutors for the last year and who is now part of our education team. So welcome, Eliza. Can you please tell us more about what you do at Formula Botanica and how you help the students?
Hi, Lorraine. Thank you for having me here today. Well, I'm a tutor at Formula Botanica. I grade projects that are required to be submitted by our students, and I attend to questions that the students post on the tutors forums on a daily basis. This is how we communicate between the tutors and the students, as we have students from all over the world with various time zones. So this would enable us to catch up on any questions, and we are able to reach out to the students more effectively. So I grade about, say, 60 projects a month, and I spend about 20 to 25 hours on the forum a month as well. But this is just me. We have another 3 tutors besides me, while covering roughly about the same, if not more. So you can imagine how many hours that we actually spent, just grading the papers and attending to the students.
Wow, that's so much. So you obviously come into contact with a lot of our students and graduates. So do you have a particular story about a graduate that you could share with us?
I do. Actually, there are many, and I'm not really good with names, but I can remember their formulas. I have students who submitted their projects with beautiful formulas. And there's always something that you can improvise, some suggestions where you can offer for them to improve. And as a tutor, I would always share something from my point of view. But what I did not expect is when the feedback goes back to the student, they would come back being so happy and so excited, because to them it was something that they have never seen before, they've never thought before, and they were so happy that they decided to alter all their formulas and make it as their product launch. So it's very, very rewarding when I have this kind of feedback from the students.
Okay, so I want to finish off this interview by asking each of our team members to tell us a funny story of something that's happened at Formula Botanica. Do you have one to share with us of your time here so far?
Well, we do have one or two, but one very particular that it sticks to me because my background, I come from a financial industry and I have been in a corporate world for more than 20 years before I joined Formula Botanica. And we are always expected to be prim and proper, dressed in our coats when we attend a meeting. So when I'm at Formula Botanica, well, we all work remotely. And last year, as you know, it's a very peculiar year for everybody. And there was a lockdown at where I am, and I'm sure at various countries around the world as well. And we were having our team meet, and the meeting started as usual. And then when it came to my turn, because I was silent all the way, when it came to my turn for some agenda, I started to read, or rather refer to my notes, what I wanted to say. And then the team members were suddenly whispering, "Oh, she's so pretty. Oh, she's so cute." And I'm like, why are people complimenting me, And I look up and it was my 5-year-old picking, at the side, and everybody was just focusing on her and not on me. And my goodness, that was one of the things that I can't forget. And it just threw off the whole meeting pace and we started all over again.
That's so lovely. And that is symptomatic of the way we work as well, because of course, the whole of Formula Botanica is home-based. So yeah, we're all here with our families and that's a very normal thing to happen. So I love that happened in your meeting. Thank you for joining me, Eliza. And thank you also on behalf of me and all of our students for all the work you do in grading hundreds and hundreds of coursework assignments and helping our students improve their formulations.
It's my pleasure, Lorraine.
Cool. So next up is Lisa, our community coordinator, who's only recently joined us as part of our student experience team. So welcome, Lisa. Can you please tell us more about the work you do at Formula Botanica and how you help our students and graduates?
So I'm Lisa Shelley. I'm the community coordinator. I look after all our students that come into us through our online groups. So we have 4 groups at the moment. We've got our Skincare Entrepreneur Mastermind, our online classroom, and 2 other groups, the Lab and our business group. We have about 40,000 in our Skincare Entrepreneur Mastermind group at the moment and about 8,000 in our online classroom. And the other 2 are a bit smaller because they're new, but altogether we're talking about 50,000 people. So what I do is go in and help everybody that logs into our groups and asks us questions and needs a little bit of guidance.
Oh my goodness, 50,000. That's an enormous number.
It is an enormous number, and it's thousands of queries every week. If you tally, everything up, people are coming in there asking about, formulations, more technical queries to people coming in just saying, look, I'm having a bad Tuesday, can someone help me? So it's very varied and very vast.
So although you've only recently joined us, you've already had the opportunity to work with so many of our students and graduates. So do you have a memorable tale of working with one of those graduates that you could share with us?
There's so many. I think for me in my role, a lot of other jobs that people working in Formula Botanica, they follow the student through their journey. But for me, I kind of think of it more as helping people with little roadblocks. Like they come in and then I help them and they kind of like go on their way. But if I had to pick of, one particular person, I would pick Robin Wayman of Sunlux Skincare. She has been posting in our groups quite a bit and I was able to organise an interview with her. We asked her a couple of questions about what she was up to. She discussed her launch. She discussed her brand, and it kind of covers so many areas because it gives us an opportunity to advertise her as a brand, to get her name out there, but also for her to tell her story and give some encouragement to our other students. She has such a wonderful backstory behind her brand. She actually discovered that she had skin cancer, and this is something she's very open about on her page and what she talks about on her website. And when she found she had skin cancer, they couldn't give her any products, they couldn't offer her any guidance or any suggestions of what she should do. So that's how she just went on the internet. She found us, and through the courses that we offer, she was able to create her own brand, and that's something really amazing. So I would pick her because I was able to kind of speak with her, get information about her brand, how she was able to change her life basically through Formula Botanica and put that story out there. And I think that video is going to drop end of January. So I'm really looking forward to everyone to see that.
Yes, and this podcast will come out in February. So hopefully everyone will have seen it by the time we go live.
That's good timing.
Yes, exactly. And we love Robin. We've known her for many years now. And I've got a lip balm sat here in front of me. So I'm thrilled you picked her as an example.
She's an amazing example because she found us, and even she didn't realize what was going to happen through finding our courses. So she's a fantastic example of someone that's just gone on the internet, found Formula Botanica, and now has goals, as she will explain in the interview, to create $1 million brand within, a couple of years, which is, many people don't think they can do that. And she's proof that you can do that.
What's the funniest anecdote you can share with us from your time with Formula Botanica so far?
Well, as you said in the beginning, I'm new, so I've only been here a few months, and we got so many queries when I first started at Formula Botanica. There was just so many coming in, and I answered one really quickly, I remember, in the SEM, but I didn't read the question properly, and I sent them onto this rabbit hole of, it was an ingredient they were looking for, and I sent them to a website about how to make baskets, and it was apps. She thought I was insane. And she replied to me saying, "Thank you so much for the advice." She was so polite. And I can't remember the word now, but it was an ingredient. And I'd obviously Googled it. I was trying so hard to help. And I'd sent her, to this, and so lucky, she was lovely, and just came back and said, "I'm not quite sure. That's what I was asking about." And this was very new. It was in the first, couple of weeks of being here. So I learned a lesson very early on to not be afraid to ask for help. If you don't know what an ingredient is, we have a huge team of amazing people who know their stuff. So don't just Google something. And I got one letter wrong. It was just one letter. So I would say that's my answer for that one, just to take, a little bit of time to ask for help within the team, which I now do all the time, to the point where I bug them endlessly. So I would say, that is my answer. But, in terms of funny stories, the whole team is wonderfully funny and lovely. So there's little things that happen every day. But I think that's probably the first one, which, funnily enough, I was able to hide and kind of keep to myself. And now you're asking me. So I'm kind of telling you honestly that I did that.
I am so desperate to know what this ingredient is now that could teach someone how to make a basket.
I can't remember. Yeah, it was. And do you know what? I actually looked up the website, and it was amazing. It's this woman that gets pine needles from, the wilderness and treats them to make them softer. And then she sews them into these individual baskets. And, and this student asked about it, was, actually looked into it and thought I was genuinely saying, if you make these baskets, this will help you with your brand. And I wasn't trying to say that at all. I was very apologetic, and she was very lovely. We had a good laugh, sense of humor about it. But yeah, that is the secret I've been withholding for all these months. But yeah, that did happen.
Well, it's given me a good laugh now, so I'm glad you shared it.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
So thank you very much for joining me today, Lisa, and thank you very much for helping us run our very busy communities.
I'm very happy to do so. And every month, every week I've been here, they just get busier, and I'm just, I feel more proud every day just to see what people are creating. And I don't just feel proud to see what they're creating, but I feel proud of the communities themselves and how they offer support to each other, not just the support we give to them, but they really are in there, to support their fellow peers. So I'm very proud of them.
Thank you. So next, I'd like to welcome Kelly, our Student Experience Coordinator, who is part of our Student Experience team and has been with Formula Botanica for many years. So welcome, Kelly. Can you please tell us more about your day-to-day work at Formula Botanica and how you help the students and graduates?
Hi, Lorraine. Yes, I can. So for the last 4 years, I've been working in our Student Experience team, and my day-to-day work involves being in our Facebook groups, which is our student groups, as well as our open group, which is 40,000 members. So that's a massive group. And then we've got a lovely online classroom, and I spend much of my day in the classroom helping the students in there. I also help students via our help desk. So some of the students will email us and I will answer them there as well. I also plan some live events. So we run lots of live streams and things in the classroom to try and enhance the learning experience and to connect as well, and just to build a community, which is already a lovely community with our students. So this just kind of enhances that and helps the students get to know our team better as well and meet all the staff that work here.
And I think that really gives us a flavour of just the enormity of the school and the, tens of thousands of people that we deal with every day. And I know that you've dealt with thousands of students and graduates over the years. So this is quite a hard question in that respect, but do you have a particular memorable story about a graduate that you've helped that you might be able to share with us?
There are lots. And I know that some of my favourite memories are when we've run in-person events, such as our conferences. But one particular memory that really stands out was from 2 years ago, and myself and a couple of our colleagues as well went to London to attend the Free From Skincare Awards. And many of our graduates were there. We had Yelena from Lena Wild, we had Helen from Barefaced Skin, Zanne from Atlanta Skincare. We've done interviews with these all over the place as well, so you'll have probably seen those. And we supported them as they were all nominated for awards. Some of them won the award. And then after the event, we all got together and we were taking selfies with the students and graduates, and we were all chatting. And what stood out even more was how much they all supported each other and they were cheering each other on. They were so thrilled when another student won an award, even though some of them didn't win themselves. They were still over the moon to support the other students. And it was a fantastic evening. And it really proved that it's more than just a school. It really is a family and a community, and it just brought everyone together, and that was an absolutely amazing evening. So I think there was about 15 graduates there that night, and we just had an amazing time, and that will always sort of stick in my mind as one of my favourite memories of my work here.
That's so heartwarming. And I think you're absolutely right. It is a family and people do lift each other up. And that's what makes the indie and green beauty community so incredibly special. So thank you for sharing that. So what's the funniest story then from your time at Formula Botanica? Because you've been here for, quite a few years, obviously. I'm sure there are many, but what's the funniest one that you can share with our listeners today?
I think the funniest ones probably come from technology going wrong. We have, obviously, being an online school, many of the things we do are online. And so we have to kind of rely on technology to work for us. And usually it does. But on a few occasions, it really doesn't. And you kind of have to carry on because you're live in front of many people, sometimes hundreds of people. And one day we were running an event ready. We were building up to an enrolment period and we were doing a live Q&A with lots of prospective students watching. So we were trying to be obviously extremely professional. And myself and two of my colleagues were on the call with me. And one of them was Anna, who's our membership coordinator. And we were talking, and about 10 minutes in, I suddenly couldn't hear Anna at all, and I couldn't see her on the screen. So I had no idea she was talking. So I thought she dropped off. So I was talking over her, not knowing. And then our other colleague that was on the call with us was sort of telling me, Kelly, you're talking over Anna. And I was thinking, hang on a minute, Anna's not here. And it turned out that for some reason, some glitch had happened somewhere. So I couldn't see or hear Anna, and we still had another 15 minutes of this live stream to do. I had hundreds of questions coming in from prospective students about the courses. So our colleague that could hear both of us was having to kind of navigate and let me know every time Anna had finished speaking. Of course, I kept then repeating what Anna had said because I didn't actually know what she'd said. So when I watched it back, I realised I was just repeating a lot of things. So that was probably not funny for us at the time. But looking back, it's moments like that you think, oh, goodness me, that's kind of what you get working online. So I'm sure anyone that runs an online business will have had a few tech glitches like that. So that has happened twice now for me. Once was on orientation week as well, which thankfully was in the classroom, so not quite as many people watching, but still. Yes, so it always seems to happen to me, does that one? I'm not sure why.
To any consolation, I've had that a few times as well. I think one of the first ever webinars I did for Formula Botanica, I was on with our cosmetic chemist at the time, and for whatever reason, it glitched massively. And all the viewers, I think there were about 100 people on, they could all see me and they couldn't see the chemist that worked with us at the time, but I could still see her, but I had no way of getting hold of her. So I had to tell everyone who was watching, I had to go, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to phone her. And I had to turn off my mic and my video. And then I phoned her husband. She lived in Germany. And so I was watching her husband walk onto the screen with the phone and hand her the phone and go, you've got Lorraine on the phone. And she was like, hello? No one can see you. We've lost you. So, yeah, I totally appreciate what you're saying. Live events always go wrong at some point. You just have to laugh your way through it and just go, I'm really sorry, everyone. We'll get back to you soon.
Yeah, definitely. I usually understand it, which is good. So people don't generally get angry about these things. thank goodness.
No. And then once they've done it themselves one time, they'll realise.
Yes, definitely. I think in some ways it's quite good, because for our students that maybe want to run an online business and may do live streams to promote their products, it helps them realise that things aren't always perfect, and you don't have to, as long as you're doing your best, and, so it might hopefully reassure them that, even for us, things do go wrong sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me today, Kelly, and thank you for sharing your experiences and supporting the students and graduates. And thank you for all your work at Formula Botanica over the years.
Thank you.
So next up is Eliza, our head of student experience, who's been a key member of our team for over 4 years now, and who we wouldn't be able to operate without. So welcome, Eliza. Thank you for joining me. Can you please tell us more about your role at Formula Botanica and how you help students and graduates?
Thanks for the introduction, Lorraine. So as Lorraine said, my name is Eliza. I'm the head of student experience at Formula Botanica, and I manage a team. We are 16 people now at the moment and growing. So we make sure that everyone is answered, everyone that is part of our community, either students, prospective students, our graduates, everyone that connects with us via email or phone or chat or in our community or social media. Make sure everyone is answered and has support from us. And I make sure everything runs smoothly during this time and that the team is able to help everyone.
Yes, it's a huge undertaking, and your help desk team in particular, they answer a lot of queries each week as well, don't they? Like, how many come in?
So usually 2,000, 3,000 emails per month. That's not counting comments on groups or calls or chat requests. So depending on the time, we might answer 4,000, 5,000 requests, counting on all the social media per month. So it's a lot of work. Yeah.
That's a huge undertaking. So you've worked with thousands of students and graduates over the years. So do you have a particular memorable story about a graduate that you'd be able to share with us?
Yes, I do. So in the beginning of 2018, we had a student starting her courses with us, and then she mailed us with a request, and I could not make an exception for her at that time. It was not possible. So she then emailed back and explained why she wanted that exception, what she needed. I then replied and said I couldn't make an exception, but I pointed her to other resources we had at the time. So our community and other things we had in the course. And she then thanked me. She said she needed that for her team. She was starting her company at the time, and she needed to have a meeting and needed to have that knowledge at that time. So then she thanked me, and it was all fine. Later that year, we had a Formula Botanica conference. So the email was in March. Then we met in November. I was involved with emails, and I still can relate a student name to a student email. So if you mention a name to me, I will remember the email address. I was not that involved with the community. I didn't recognize faces at that time. So I was at the conference, and the student came and gave me a big hug. And she said, "You have no idea how much you helped me. You helped me so much." And the team, we were able to finish our meeting and be able to progress with what we needed. And I kind of frozen because I didn't know her, the face. So then I went back and checked the emails and saw. So that was something that I still cherish, because you sometimes don't know how much you are helping someone via email, because you don't really see emotions, but we do what we can all the time. Yeah, so it's something I always remember 3 years later.
That's a lovely story. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that really shows the level of dedication that you and your team put into creating the student experience, which is why your team is called the Student Experience Team, because we want the students to have a great learning experience while they're with us.
Yeah.
So then moving on from that, what's the funniest story from your time at Formula Botanica that you can share with our listeners?
That involves Lorraine.
Uh-oh.
So we have a very interactive environment. We are always, although everyone works from home, we are chatting all the time. And most of our communication is made through written communication. So we have many people that are not natural English speakers.
I think I know where this is going.
Yeah. You traumatized me. So
yes, I remember this well.
So yeah, I'm known by my typos. Me and Lorraine, we type very fast. But so once I was sharing some information in our communication tool, and instead of writing spreadsheet, I wrote spreadsheet. I didn't even saw that. So Lorraine came back like, you didn't even see the typo, right? And now, then I asked, yeah. So every time I say sheet, I emphasize the E because I'm always scared to say shit or write shit.
We're going to have to put one of those explicit warnings on this podcast today. No, this is funny because, of course, we have a team in 12 countries at the moment. I mean, all over the world. And it isn't important for every single role to be a native English speaker. I mean, if some of our forward-facing staff, they're often teaching. But yeah, it isn't really important to us. But then sometimes when someone writes a typo, I remember at the time I was like, if I say this to Eliza, will I offend her? And then I thought, no, I think I'm just going to go with it. And then obviously, we have the poop emoji, which came in very useful in that particular conversation. Oh my goodness. So there you go. That's the challenge of having a team that works remotely. And I mean, we use a system called Slack. And even this week, Slack went down globally. And I remember sitting here for about 5 minutes, just sort of panicking, thinking, how are we all going to talk to each other? And then I went, oh yeah, we have email. So I sent out an email to the whole team and went, just to remind everyone, we have email. We're here. But yeah, it's great. And thank you for sharing that story with me. And thank you for chatting to our listeners. And most of all, thank you for all your work over the years. I'm so grateful to have you in our team, Eliza.
No, thank you, Lorraine. I couldn't be more proud to be part of Formula Botanica, the team. Thank you so much.
So last but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome on Asia, who is our digital and social specialist and joined our recently formed marketing tech team. So welcome to the podcast, Asia. Can you please tell us more about your day-to-day work at Formula Botanica and how you help the students and graduates?
Yes, I am happy to be here. This is my first time on the podcast. I'm so jealous of some of the staff that's on here all the time. So yeah, happy to be here. Like you said, I am the social and digital specialist for Formula Botanica. So just generally what that includes is running all of our social media platforms, which encompasses Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, a little bit of YouTube, and of course, Instagram. So every day it's about planning the content, seeing what our students and people in our community are creating on those platforms, what they're saying to us, and just trying to figure out what kind of message we want to send out to them, keeping them updated with everything that's going on at Formula Botanica.
So as you say, really, you're on the front lines and you're seeing exactly what our students are doing every day across social media. So can you share a memorable story of having worked with one of our graduates with us?
Yeah, let's see. This is my favorite part of the job because it's almost like a bit of a scavenger hunt. Sometimes I'm the first person to see something that our graduates are up to as they share their brand launches or their new formulations. I would say if I had to pinpoint a favorite time while doing social media, I remember Naz from Solo Skin London had gone on stories and she had just done an interview with you, Lorraine, during one of our term times. And she was talking about her experiences studying at Formula Botanica. And recently she had just won an award too for her brand. And she just got on stories and she was so emotional on Instagram about, how all of this made her feel. And getting on there, I don't feel distanced from it. I really actually feel connected to these people. So being able to see those emotions and share those stories just really is impactful and emphasizes like why my job is important, because it actually does make a significant difference in people's lives. So being able to uplift that voice and her message was definitely one of my favorite memories with our graduates.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, we love what Naz is doing at Solo Skin London. And, you know, that's so touching when you see these stories out there and you get to connect with our graduates. So thank you. Being on the front lines, however, also means that you get to see all sorts of hilarious antics that go on. So what's the funniest story from your time at Formula Botanica so far that you can share with our listeners?
Oh, geez. I haven't even begun to think about something funny from social media. I could probably already write a book now on the confusion that people have, the things that people say. Overall, I would say as far as the social media side goes, the funniest thing to me is that everyone thinks that they're talking to you. They're talking to Lorraine. And most of the time they're talking to me. So we're very different. It's very interesting. And that, I think, just cracks me up because I know behind the scenes how starkly different we are. And I'm like, I have these people fooled. I think it's still Lorraine Dallmeier. But on a more internal side, one of the funniest things about working for Formula Botanica is that I'm one of the only Americans on the team. So I remember first starting, and still to this day, everyone in the UK always explains terminology to me. So they'll say something like, I'm going to put that in the bin. And they're like, Asia, for you, that means the trash can. And I'm like, I know. But everyone is still like doing this translation for me. And I find myself even talking differently because I have to use adapt to that voice while I'm working here. And so I'll clock out for the day and I will find myself saying things that are rather British. And I'm like, why am I talking like that?
I totally recognize what you're saying because I spent a year living in the States. And, you know, I remember just going up to people and being like, excuse me, are you standing in the queue? And they'd be like, what? I go, oh, in line. Sorry, are you in line? And I remember a very hilarious scenario when I went to one of my roommates and I asked her if she had a rubber, which was a very unfortunate term for an eraser. It's a word we use here in the UK. I was doing my homework. I needed a pencil and an eraser, but she was like, yeah, I think I do somewhere. Let me go get you one. And I went, no, wait. So I do appreciate what you're saying there. And it's funny because Eliza was also talking about some of the language differences that we've had here over the years. So yeah, thank you for sharing that story. Well, thank you in total for joining me today, Asia. And thank you for managing all of our social accounts. It's lovely to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I love the work that we do at Formula Botanica, and I think my job is absolutely fun. So I'm looking forward to how we continue to grow.
So I hope you enjoyed hearing this behind-the-scenes view of Formula Botanica, laughed at our stories with us, and enjoyed hearing our tales of growing our online school to become the world's largest online education platform for formulators and indie beauty entrepreneurs. As you can probably imagine, growing from a tiny online website to a huge global platform and school, it's been a roller coaster and has involved many dozens of people over the years. I am so proud of my amazing team and our incredible students and graduates. So I love that we've had the opportunity to tell you some of these stories today. If you're a Formula Botanica student, please do come and tell us about your experiences of studying with us too. Tag us on social and tell us how we've helped you, because we'd love to hear it. And if you'd like to become part of our amazing student community, then please do come and pre-register for our next term time at formulabotanica.com so you don't miss out. Thank you for joining Eliza, Kelly, Lisa, Asia, Eliza, and I for this latest episode of Green Beauty Conversations. I really hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Spotify and stay tuned for the next episode. Follow Formula Botanica at Formula Botanica on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, or LinkedIn. We are everywhere. Visit our website at formulabotanica.com and sign up for our free online formulation course today.